Shedeur Sanders' injury opens the door for Dillon Gabriel in the Browns' QB battle. Can he take advantage? Shedeur Sanders made a strong initial impression with his performance in the Browns' preseason opener, completing 14 of 23 passing with 2 touchdowns as Cleveland beat the Carolina Panthers 30-10. But the positive momentum surrounding the 5th-round rookie came to a screeching halt yesterday as he strained his oblique in warm-ups and missed Wednesday's practice. With the Philadelphia Eagles looming this weekend, head coach Kevin Stefanski may prefer to play it safe with Sanders' injury and give extra playing time to one of the 4 other quarterbacks in contention, and fellow rookie Dillon Gabriel is at the front of the queue. A hamstring injury has slowed Gabriel in recent weeks. He's put together back-to-back full practices since the weekend, but his absence has cost him valuable reps. Now, he's playing catch-up and needs a strong performance against the reigning Super Bowl champions on Saturday. Gabriel might take a leaf out of Sanders' book and seek advice from the most famous of their preseason Week 2 opponents. Gabriel was, famously, selected 2 rounds earlier than Sanders, suggesting Cleveland preferred his long-term outlook over Sanders. Whether that's still the case remains to be seen. Veteran Flacco remains the favorite to start Week 1, and we cannot count out former first-round pick Kenny Pickett. But at 40 years old, Flacco is not the future of the team, and in the 3 years since he was drafted, Pickett has failed to justify his lofty draft capital. Tune in on Saturday, with NFL Game Pass on DAZN, to watch how this storyline unfolds. Watch the full NFL season on DAZN. Get every game of the NFL season, including the preseason, regular season, playoffs, and Super Bowl, with NFL Game Pass on DAZN. The sideline looked different with Shedeur's number empty, not an absence that screamed, but one that hummed. In football, space is a kind of invitation. An empty jersey becomes a door with a brass knob. For Dillon Gabriel, that door clicked open like a challenge and a chance at once. Not simply to fill reps, but to reframe a season. Dillon had been preparing like everyone else, cataloging coverages, rehearsing footwork, folding film into memory like cards in a magician's hand. But preparation and opportunity are cousins that rarely arrive together. An oblique strain changed the arithmetic. Suddenly the reps that had been promised in warm-ups, the ones scouts and coaches had filed into spreadsheets and mental highlight reels, slid across the table toward him. You could feel the locker room tilt. Coaches recalibrated their scripts, simpler reads, quicker outs, more structure to let timing win in the absence of a practiced rhythm. The offensive line nodded as if affirming a pact. We'll keep you clean, you keep the ball moving. Wideouts shorten their stems and sharpen their breaks. The playbook, once an ambitious manifesto, folded itself into a practical toolkit. This is Dillon's moment, the kind scouts say every rookie dreams about, but almost never narrate aloud. He walked onto the field with the deliberate, even gait of someone who knows that confidence isn't brashness. It's a steady voice in the huddle. His throws were measured, no theater, just accuracy. The first time the ball arced true on a 3rd down sprint out, a hush passed between bench and bleachers, the kind of quiet that means attention is being paid. People don't notice moments until they become movement. Dillon's play was beginning to look like movement. Opportunity in football isn't just physical, it's psychological. Dillon had to manage the noise that arrives with a substitute spotlight. Social feeds buzzed. The coaching staff's eyes multiplied with scrutiny. But there's a difference between paralysis and focus, and Dillon's mental trainer had drilled him on the latter. He treated each play like a test he could influence, not a verdict he could not. Between snaps he studied not to shine, but to stabilize, footwork, cadence, the small whispers of defensive alignment. Teammates reacted like a community recalibrating. Veterans remembered the nights they'd been thrust into a spotlight and offered practical counsel. Trust your drop, find rhythm in the tempo, take what the defense gives. The running backs became conversationalists in the backfield, little verbal cues to thread him into timing. Chemistry is not instant. It's a patient architecture, brick by snapped brick. Dillon knew that and started laying mortar. Coaches watch more than they shout in moments like these. They map the game to protect the rookie's edges. More play action to slow linebackers, screens to punish aggressive rush lanes, and fewer deep shots early to let timing bloom. It wasn't a vote of no confidence in the absent starter. It was a fiscal prudence of plays and a trust in depth. For Dillon, that structure was not limitation. It was a scaffold. There are players whose presence transforms play calls into poetry because they make the improbable safe. There are others who inherit a quiet role and simply execute, and those players often become coaches' favourites. Dillon started as the latter and, with 2 clean throws and an honest scramble that picked up a 4th down, nudged toward the former. Each successful read became a silent argument. He can do this. Each miscue was filed, not dramatized, a piece of data to refine. Fans are fickle witnesses to these arcs. Some cheered at the audacity of a rookie stepping up. Others measured every throw against the benchmark of the injured favourite. The city's pulse accelerated, then steadied. Hope is less a roar than a slow-burning echo. Dillon fed it by making small, repeatable plays that aggregated into trust. A 10-yard gain here, a well-placed check down there. Not glamorous, but a ledger that coaches respect. The bigger question, can he take advantage? Was really 2 questions in one. Could he perform now, under pressure? And could he use the moment to earn a longer-term role? The first is immediate and measurable. In the games that followed Shedeur's absence, Dillon's stat line told part of the story. Timely completions, a couple of scramble yards that revealed athletic confidence, and a couple of throws that clanged against the face mask and taught him the value of incremental learning. The second is more mercurial. Earning a role means shaping perception, earning coaches' trust, winning teammates' tactile faith in the huddle, and convincing fans that this is less audition and more legitimacy. If Dillon wanted the door to stay open, he'd need more than clean mechanics. He'd need curiosity, the habit of asking why a route failed and what prevented the timing from knitting. He'd need humility to absorb correction, and the appetite to iterate at practice until muscle memory no longer forgot the new cues. He'd need to be steady under the microscope, making decisions that were prudent more often than they were flashy. The league, for its part, loves narratives where underdogs become durable starters. But it's pragmatic first. Coaches pick players who reduce variance. Will Dillon reduce variance? Early signs suggested he could. Will he grow into an identity that complicates the quarterback derby when Shedeur returns? That depends on time, film, and a sequence of small, persuasive performances. When Shedeur's recovery arc completes and his jersey returns to the bench, the competition will be renewed. But football seasons are not zero-sum in the short run. Roles evolve. Dillon's job,